Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 266. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Thank you so much for listening. Here on the blogcast, I read you a blog and then sing you a song that is connected to it. If it's your first time here, welcome. So last time, I was wondering if there was a better word for inspired by in this kind of context where like the inspiration is actually something that's, made me mad or, so inspiring doesn't seem quite like the right word. And my mother actually suggested provoked. So I like that a lot. And this blog that you're about to hear was provoked by something somebody said while I was away on my first post-vaccine trip. Apparently it's resonated with a few people, so I'm glad to be able to now share it with you in blogcast form. It is called, I'm going to have to ask you to not silver lining this. During my first post-vaccine trip away, I heard a few people talking about their positive experiences of the pandemic. One said, joyously, "There's really a silver lining to all this." I think she was talking about having time in her garden or space to be with her family, but I can't remember because my brain melted down in that moment. I don't mean to imply that someone couldn't have positive experiences of the pandemic or experience things as a silver lining. I don't even mean to suggest that one can't talk about the positive aspects one might have enjoyed. But it might be important to keep in mind that everyone has had very different pandemics, and there are a lot of people for whom there was no silver lining, and there is no silver lining, and there is unlikely to be a silver lining before this is over. As things start opening back up and people start to touch back in with one another, it might be worth being a little careful when talking about the great times you've had this last year and a half. I'm super glad that not everyone was traumatized by the traumatizing event we all just went through. I'm glad folks had gardens and space to stretch out in. I'm glad people enjoyed Zoom cocktail hours and online exercise classes. I'm glad that for some folks, this whole thing was mostly just a little inconvenient and not that big a deal. But that's not the case for a lot of people. For people who got sick or lost someone to COVID, for people who lost their jobs or their field or their hope, for people confined to small spaces or in unsafe conditions, a silver lining is just not in the cards, particularly when they're still dealing with the repercussions of the storm clouds. This thing sucked for me, and it sucked much more for a whole lot of other people. The silver lining is that we survived. I honestly don't want to hear about any other silver linings. I don't want to hear the positive spins, and I categorically do not want to be asked to make a positive spin. No one here in New York City is really doing that. I think as a city, we've still got after images of those morgue trucks parked outside our hospitals burned into our neurons, so we're just not inclined to try and put a positive spin on anything, with the possible exception of the city administration. They're trying to do that hard. But for the people who live here, it feels like everyone just assumes we've been through hell and we're not really going to talk about it for a while. But elsewhere, where maybe the realities of this pandemic weren't quite as up close and personal, there's a classic American attempt at turning of that frown upside down happening. And smiling is a good idea, for sure. But I beg of you, please, unless you know for a fact someone had a really easy time of it this last year or so, don't go looking for the silver lining. There may not really be one for the person you're talking to. Most people who have a yacht have at least a cursory awareness that not everyone has access to a yacht. And so the nicest ones don't tend to go on about it. The clueless, of course, will not shut up about the yacht's amenities, but the nice ones will not bother non-yacht people with their yacht stories. Think about your silver lining like a yacht. If you find another person you know for a fact has a yacht, please enjoy all the yacht talk you want. But if you're talking with a non-yacht owner, maybe talk about the weather instead. And maybe just start with the assumption that the person you're talking to does not own a yacht. Does this post feel out of date already, even though it was only like a month ago? Because I don't know. It does feel like Delta variant has changed things for people who were, I've been hearing for the last, I don't know, maybe the last 8 months, people have been like, oh, back in the pandemic. And I'm like, guys, it is still happening. I don't know why you think it's over, but anyway. So I feel like I wrote this in a moment where I was like, I guess it could be on its way out. And that I, was seeing a lot of things like opening more up. And it does feel like that moment has passed. Sadly. Who knows? Every minute is unknowable. It is very hard to make plans. I'm like trying to plan a workshop that I volunteered to teach for the League of Independent Theater. And just like trying to figure out do we think people will be meeting in person in a month? Is this a thing that's going to happen? We don't know. Making plans is not, apparently that's not a thing we do anymore. I mean, I guess we do. We make them and then just get ready to change them any minute. Sorry, that may be a little bit of a bummer. But I'm not looking for the silver lining. No, sir. No. So today's song, let me tell you about this. I'm actually really excited to share it with you because this song is Tori Amos's A Sort of Fairy Tale because she mentions a silver lining right in the first verse. So it seems right on it. She says the very words that this post is about, although the song has nothing to do with this. But also I wanted to do it because after I did Amber Waves a few weeks ago, every single time I listened to Amber Waves or sang it or thought about it, immediately, as soon as it was over, I went straight to this song in my mind because they're on the album, this one follows that. And that album is such a kind of coherent piece that it's just like, I could not hear this song next. So I had to do it. And it's been not easy to learn, even just to learn to sing. The key is very interesting to me. I don't know, but the way I had to sing it a half step higher than Tori Amos, which I would have not expected, but it makes a big difference. So I'm playing this on the ukulele with a capo, and the ukulele does not respond great to a capo. So there's this it sort of moves around a little bit. Maybe it's just the capo that I have. But yeah, there's some capo adjustment that happens kind of that makes the sound a little funny in moments. But somehow it feels okay for this song, so I didn't worry about it too much. Although I do feel like when I get my hands back on my guitar, I'm still away from it at the moment, I might give this song another airing just to see. I don't know. Well, I'll find out. But the other thing that's very fun about learning this song is that I actually learned what a lot of the lyrics were, that before I had literally no idea. There's all this stuff that I was like, wait, what? That's what she's saying? It's kind of amazing. Like Oliver Stone gets, like, literally the guy Oliver Stone gets a shout out in this song, and not in a good way. But yeah, apparently there's a story. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so it's funny to like actually dig in deep and discover what's actually happening in this song. Yeah. So I may come back to it, is what I'm saying. Thank you so much for listening to the blogcast. And if you like it, please tell someone about it, share it, put it on the social medias, broadcast it on Billboard. That would be so weird. But yeah, or if you would like to support the podcast with your dollars, there is patreon.com/Emily R. Davis. There's Ko-fi, there's PayPal. All those links are in the show notes. And I thank each and every one of you for listening. It is always a pleasure to know when someone has listened. So thank you, those of you who tell me. It makes me very happy. So here we go. I give to you a sort of fairy tale. Sorry, it is a sorta fairy tale. On my way up north, up on the Ventura, I pulled back the hood, and I was talking to you, and I knew then this would be a lifelong thing, but I didn't know that we could break a silver lining, and I'm so sad. Like a good book, I can't put this day back. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. Things that you said that day upon the 101, the girl had come undone. I tried to downplay it with a bet about us. You said that you'd take it as long as I could. I could not erase it, and I'm so sad. Like a good book, I can't put this day back. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. And I ride alongside, and I rode alongside you then, and I rode alongside till you lost me there in the open road, and I rode alongside till the honey spread itself so thin for me to break your bread, for me to take your word. I had to steal it, and I'm so sad. Like a good book, I can't put this day back. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. I could pick back up whenever I feel. Down New Mexico way, something about the open road. I knew that he was looking for some Indian blood, and find a little in you, find a little in me. We may be on this road, but we're just imposters in this country. So we go along, and we said we'd fake it, feel better with Oliver Stone, till I almost smacked him, seemed right that night, and I don't know what takes hold out there in the desert cold. These guys think they must try and just get over on us. Oh, and I'm so sad, like a good book. I can't put this day back. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. It's a sort of fairy tale with you. And I was riding alongside for a while till you lost me, and I was riding along till you lost me in the rear view. You lost me. Way up north, I took my day. All in all, it was a pretty nice day, and I put the hood right back where you could taste heaven perfectly. Feel out the summer breeze. Didn't know when we'd be back, and I didn't think we'd end up like